when I think about this, I hear you on the frustration. I hear you about the urgency of, shaking people out of this daze that they're in and being reckless and, irresponsible and so on. But here's the thing. The research and the knowledge that you have, that everyone on this panel has, it takes time to turn into consumer understanding. And I think that this is a classic case that even, Willie just mentioned of lost in translation, where we have a plethora of research studies that have been done that prove conclusively that an animal predominant diet is severely unhealthy for human beings. But then is this translated well enough when we look at, advertising, when we look at consumer advertising that is not just made by private corporations, but also by the government itself? And to the map that you had earlier shown, Naijha, if you can pull it back up. When I look at this, at the JIVINITI research program, we've done a lot of secondary research as well as primary research. And it reminds me of a map from the Economic Innovation Group. And when we look at this map, it correlates very heavily with places that could be considered in two aspects. One is places that are low-income zip codes in the United States, and number two, places where the population happens to be disproportionately that of persons of color. So once again, agree with Willie that, keep persons of color, especially the African-American community and the Black community, out of this waiver, should this ever even become a reality. And I would like to share that I think access to healthcare is a fundamental right and should be available to everyone, and especially those amongst us who are more mesmerized and seduced and psychologically vulnerable to the suggestion that is made about consuming animals, for any reason, in the name of nutrition to them. And if we deny them access to healthcare on top of the access to good, responsible, ethical advertising and information and awareness, that would be the biggest tragedy there ever was.